Hello, and welcome to today's meditation. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to talk about leveraging our breath to reduce stress and anxiety. Where we are right now in the change of seasons, we are in this period of transition. And as we can probably all relate to, transitions can be sort of bumpy. They're not always smooth paths to the next thing. One thing is ending and something else is beginning. And even within our own bodies, that can create stress. And our bodies can also be great indicators of where we are in that stress cycle. So I thought, what better time than now to play around with how that breath can be our tool through this time. So as you get yourself prepared, you can grab extra layers, extra blankets and pillows, anything that will serve you for about the next 30 or so minutes. And then find yourself in a comfortable position. You may choose to be in a seated position as I am today. You can also choose to lean against or back into something, maybe the back of a chair or a wall. You can also take a reclined position, just knowing that in a reclined position, you may find yourself fighting sleep, but that's okay. And then as you arrive here, do so in beginning to notice the place where it is that you are choosing to practice today. It may be the exact same place you join from every week, and that's fine, but it may feel different today. There might be something different about it. So go ahead, let your senses take in your environment, the place and the space in which you're joining. Look around, notice if there's anything visually vying for your attention. Let your ears allow the sound from far off distances travel in, and then gently begin to narrow down what it is that you're listening to and for. Let yourself notice any lingering scents that are coming into your space and any related tastes associated with that. Go ahead and let yourself begin to settle in. Notice the parts of your body that are touching, where you're feeling something. So it could be your hands, it could be your feet, your legs, your back. And we, as I explain every week, we do this because the path to finding stillness, that meditative state, begins with us first acknowledging that the body is working through aches and pains, sensations, tightness, all of that. And if the body wants to move, it's going to be almost impossible to get the mind to settle. So really use these arriving moments to make this setup work for you. And then, as I indicated, this practice is going to focus on a type of breathing that's going to help us when we become aware that we are in states of anxiety and stress. So in the comment sections below, I'll be sure to link the NIH study that I'll be referring to in this or throughout this time. And there was a study that was done that talks about the effects of prolonged exhalation. So this is different than box breathing, which is usually a count of 4, pause for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 4. Box breathing was developed, if I'm correct, by the US Navy SEALs, and it was built as a technique to balance and in a, not in an efforting way, but in a management control the breath type way. So that in situations where you needed to remain calm and balanced, the box breath is a fantastic tool. Even if you can't do the 4 inhale, 4 pause, 4 exhale, 4 pause, you can work with different counts that work for you. But in this particular breath work, where the exhalation will be longer count-wise than the inhale, we've done this before. The science behind it is when we get stressed and we experience anxiety, you'll notice that your breath gets stuck from the chest up. And the study references that the effects of it means that we are using or just touching internally the intercostal muscles. So very shallow, very high up muscles are being flexed when we're in this rapid type of breathing. And so you may even just let your awareness come to right now, as you're sitting here, where is it that your breath is? You might notice that maybe it is a little bit more shallow and it's here in the chest. You may notice that it's a little bit more efforting, a little bit more strength in the rib cage. And others may notice that it's in the low belly. And so when we breathe in the upper respiratory, when we're in those states of anxiety and stress, and the breath only goes to about the upper lung region, we're not taking in that full capacity of breath. And when we work to lengthen the exhale, the study indicates that we are, in fact, engaging diaphragmatic breathing. So the diaphragm is like down here below your lungs, right? And it's the best way to describe it is it's like an umbrella, kind of does like this, but in this type of position. And when we activate the diaphragm, it presses against the parasympathetic nerve. That parasympathetic part of our central nervous system is what fires up or switches us from fight, flight, that fearful response, into that rest, renew, revive type part of our system. It's a great tool to switch us from, I'm really feeling like I need to go do something, into that, okay, I can, this is manageable. And so to tie it all together, we start our time by doing movements, addressing that the body wants to move. We then next move to the part of like working with the breath, not just the body, but moving our awareness internally. What is the breath trying to tell us? And then we work to find balance within our own breath. And then it's from there that we can begin to pull in our senses, to then not really focus on anything but one thing. And for today, that'll be the breath, with the ultimate goal of reaching the moment where we are not focused on anything, not even the one thing, not even the breath. And we're just sort of here. And that, my friends, is the step right before we reach that sort of meditative state. Okay? So with that, we are in our seat or we are reclined, however you chose to join. And we're just going to let our hands rest, palms down, maybe over your knees, on your thighs. If you have decided or chosen a reclined position, you can rest your hands, one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, and just let the elbows trend down towards alongside you so that you don't feel like you're holding your hands up. Everyone here is just in a nice, neutral, relaxed position. And all we're going to do for the next few moments is just come to be with the breath. So taking those first arriving breaths, we'll take 3 of them. It's an inhale through the nose. As you exhale, allow the lips to separate and just sigh the breath out. 2 more like that on your own. As you inhale, it's a breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Maybe even notice that the jaw wants to move from side to side, releasing any tension, and that on the exhale, the shoulders may roll away more. Last inhale here. Exhale, side out. And then gently allow the lips to come back together. Allow the teeth to still stay a little separated. Begin to feel the tongue resting heavy in the bottom of your mouth. And then just notice for about the next minute, where do you feel your breath? So we're not changing anything. We're not trying to add more stress or strain. There's no judgment here. It's simply arriving into where we are, taking a check-in on what's going on. Our minds, the chatter within our minds can get so loud and so all-consuming that even just taking moments throughout the day to check in with the breath, to notice what it is that the breath is trying to tell us, can be so powerful. And so again, we're just letting ourselves bring our awareness, noticing where the breath is in the body. And so now you've paid a little bit of attention, brought some awareness to the breath. It may be helpful to let your hands rest where you feel the breath. So if you're feeling it in your upper chest, just let your hands rest there. Let the weight and the warmth of your hands just be with you here. Perhaps you're feeling more of that expansion and contraction, the ebb and flow of the breath in the ribs. So here, you can let your hands rest on your ribs. You can even cross over if that's more comfortable. And now let your hands become that external sort of indicator, giving you that weight and warmth. Feeling the breath move. Multiple direction, multi-directionally, get that word out. Front, back, up and down, side to side. Maybe let your hands rest on your low belly, if that's where you're feeling the breath today. And again, always let the shoulders and the elbows relax. Not adding any additional efforting or work on the part of the body. And then let your hands rest down. And we'll do that check again at the end. So with this breath that works to extend the exhale, useful in periods of increased stress and anxiety, we start with the breath as it is. So next time you inhale, just notice, count the breath. So if your breath is faster, maybe you only get to say 1 or 2. If your breath is feeling longer, maybe you get to a count of 4 or 5. And this is on the inhale. And don't try and extend the inhale. See if you can just count your natural inhale. Keep your count steady. Keep that steady cadence. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep that cadence. And then begin to notice the exhale, counting backwards. How long is your exhale? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so now we're counting both parts of the breath on our own. All of us are different. We've arrived here at this moment under very different and unique circumstances. So just notice. And so you may notice that your breaths aren't quite equal. The inhale and the exhale are a little different. One may feel longer than the other. So the activation of the longer exhale is not so much by force, but working to notice, can we with each breath stretch the breath? So we just take a natural inhale and then count your exhale. Take a natural inhale. And now just count your exhale. Count your inhale. I'm sorry, natural inhale. Count your exhale. All right, let that go for a second. Just check in with your body. Notice any sensations and feelings. Maybe the eyes are feeling inspired to close or the gaze to soften. Again, playing with that transition from noticing the breath, pulling the senses in, and then becoming single focused on the breath. We may not be there today, but know that that's the path. And so just take a natural inhale. And as you exhale, count 1, 2, 3, 4. See if you've got a 5th, maybe a 6th count of breath. And then notice your inhale. Count the exhale again, slowing the count. 1, 2, 3, stopping to inhale wherever your lengthened with outstretched exhale ends. And then notice the inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the inhale. So keep your counting, noticing with each exhale if 4 feels like your limit. Notice if to a count of 4 it gets easier. That maybe towards the end of our time here, you get to that 5th count. And then as you inhale, without trying to work it, just notice the count in. Letting the exhale naturally lengthen without forcing it. And then just seeing if you can keep that smooth inhale in. In the study, they reference that during this exercise, the breath count in the study was 6, a count of 6 on the exhale, and that most people found the inhale to naturally occur to a count of 4, which is why I was using those numbers here today. But maybe you find that the count here is a little bit different for you. Just knowing that the focus here today is on just feeling that lengthening of the exhale as compared to the inhale. Activating that diaphragmatic low lung breathing, pressing on that parasympathetic nerve, activating that rest, renew, that rejuvenating part of our central nervous system. So do this 2 more times on your own. And then when you're done, just let this go and let your awareness settle into that internal environment you just created. Without judgment, can you just notice the sensations, the feelings, the emotions inside the body? Notice where now in your body you feel your breath. Doing nothing to manipulate or work with the breath, just let your awareness check in. Where now do you feel the breath? Is it in the upper chest, the ribs, the low belly? Feel yourself peacefully staying with the breath, observing how it moves in and out of the body. You may even notice that for a moment, you're lost in that space of no thing. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath, perhaps inhaling through the nose. Exhale, sighing out, just releasing anything else, that lingering tension, stress, or strain that may have been holding on. And then gently allow your chin, if you're seated, to tuck towards your chest. If you found yourself in a reclined position, and we'll all do this, we're going to let the head move from one side, lengthening out along the sides of the neck, and then coming back through center, and then bringing the head over in the opposite direction. Just creating more space to move the breath. And do that a couple times on your own. And coming back to a neutral position. Chin tucked if you're seated, and then we'll gently allow the eyes to butterfly open or to focus on a point if we just had them gently closed. Allow your gaze to come back up into a neutral position. So let's go ahead and check in just to close this out. With these last breaths here that we'll take together, notice where your breath is. Maybe use your hands as additional feedback. The breath is still in the chest, let the hands rest there. Hands on the ribs if you feel it more pronounced there. The intention of our practice, though, was to get us all with our hands on our belly. And if you're not there, don't worry. Know that you can always come back to this practice. And just let yourself be with the effects of your time here. Know that as you find that breath rising up in situations where it doesn't serve you, where you need that rest and relaxation, that you can always work to extend your breath with ease, with compassion, and find yourself back in this more resting, relaxation state. So that is our practice for today. I would love to hear your experience with this. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to let me know. Otherwise, wishing you a very resting start to your day. I'll see you all soon.